Coming up on AgweekTV, we're coming to you this week from Ag Spray Equipment in Fargo, North Dakota for our special planting show. How are producers in the region sitting so far this planting season? We'll find out. There is a serious shortage of Farm Service Agency workers and a new way to keep up on your soil's health. Welcome to AgweekTV. I'm Emily Beal. This week we're coming to you from Ag Spray Equipment based in Fargo, North Dakota for our special spring planting show. We'll be covering all things planting this week, from planting weather conditions and outlooks to seeing how producers across the region are doing this planting season. How are the markets reacting as planting season surges forward? I met with market expert Frayne Olson to find out. So Frayne, what are we currently seeing in the markets?
Well, we've seen quite a drop in prices in the last probably week or so. Part of that started with the USDA reports for the WASDE, which was the May report is the first time we get forecast for the 2023 growing year, which is again the year that we're in right now. So there was no major surprises, but basically confirmation that everybody's looking for a large crop this year. Then on top of that, we've had very rapid planting progress in the core corn belt. So when we look at what's going on in Nebraska, parts of southern Minnesota, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, their crop for both corn and soybeans are actually ahead of normal.
And at least in this region, it seems like planting is kind of lagging. How has that impacted local markets?
Right, and so one of the concerns I have is a lot of farmers get backyard syndrome. So just because we're behind on our planting progress and the fact that we're having some challenges up here doesn't mean that the markets are going to respond to all of that, because we are kind of the outlier at this stage of the game. So we have seen slower planting progress, very similar kind of to what we started with last year. I know last year was not a real great year. We haven't seen a lot of market response yet. Hopefully now as we move into the rest of May, we'll be able to get some caught up.
And what can producers expect as we head into growing season?
Well, continued volatility. I know I feel like a broken record when we talk about that. But even though we're looking at some pretty large production numbers out of the United States, when we look at the consumption area, we have both the production and the consumption. So we look at USDA forecasts as kind of that baseline, that starting point. They are looking for an increase in ending stocks, some better available supplies, but they're still not dramatically large. So even though, looking at very large production, the consumption outlook is also very strong. And obviously there's a lot of volatility yet in the global markets, a lot of uncertainty there, and we still have a long growing season ahead of us.
Well, thank you so much for your insight today, Frayne.
All right, thank you.
Frayne Olson. The USDA's Farm Service Agency is an important resource for farmers and ranchers, but the North Dakota State Director says staffing is down by about 10% across the state, and she blames low wages. We take a closer look in this week's Ag Week cover story.
Whenever we have a vacancy somewhere, that means less services for our producers.
The Farm Service Agency is a vital tool for farmers administering complex government programs. But North Dakota FSA Executive Director Marcy Swenningson says low wages mean they're having trouble attracting qualified applicants for open positions. In fact, she says they're not attracting any applicants at all.
We have some tools that we can use. We have student loan repayment. We have incentives that we can offer. But when you're talking that a 4-year degree starting out at the Farm Service Agency only makes about $17.75 an hour, that's tough to attract quality employees.
Swenningson says FSA county technician jobs range from $34,000 to $37,000 a year, depending on whether the applicant has a college degree. That's significantly lower than similar private sector jobs. To make matters worse, the government hiring process is long, and Swenningson says in that time, many applicants take a different job.
It's discouraging. And you know what? We still do an awesome job. The employees that we have, they delivered $5 billion worth of money to producers over the last 5 program years. That's an amazing accomplishment.
And North Dakota is not the only state facing this problem. Swenningson has contacted the congressional delegation about including more money for wages in the next farm bill.
Agriculture is a huge industry, and we want to make sure that we have the best people serving our producers in our county offices.
You can read much more in the next Ag Week magazine or at agweek.com. Up next on Ag Week TV, we'll see how the weather is affecting planting season.
Since the inception of Vaterstadt, the spirit of innovation has led the company. We push the limits, providing innovative and reliable seeding and tillage solutions that simplify everyday life for farmers. We continue to reimagine the capabilities and technology behind farm machinery, providing customers with a perfect emergence while maximizing their yields. We look forward to growing together.
I'm Peter Bosch. I've been working with Gateway Building Systems for a little over 20 years now. I chose Gateway Building Systems to build my shop because I wanted a building that could both be used for my equipment and as a place for my family to hang out and do things. I would advise anybody that's thinking about working with Gateway to go in and talk to the guys there, tell them your plans and your future dreams, and let them design something for you.
Getting down to business on the farm means hitting the office early, making sure your team's ready to go, getting updates from the field, and talking with your management team. At Bremer Bank, we understand the business of farming and how to protect and grow your operation, so you can be sure your present and your future are in good hands.
There's no easy button. No guarantees or promises of a good year. This is farming. It's unpredictable and demanding, with long days and sometimes stressful nights. It's weathering the storms and coming out successful. Farming isn't for everyone. We thank those who make it their life, because it is for everyone.
Dynaflow is the ultimate high-volume water management pump. Whether you're experiencing flooding, emptying sloughs, transferring ponds, or working on irrigation, the Dynaflow pump works in as little as 18 inches of water and is designed to move 3,000 gallons per minute. The Dynaflow lift pump is the perfect upgrade to your drain tile system. Using line shaft turbine pump technology, these pumps are made to last while operating efficiently. Dynaflow drain tile pumps can move up to 1,500 gallons per minute, up to 3,400 feet away.
Despite major snowfalls this winter, planting is ahead of schedule across South Dakota. At Jeff Thompson's operation near Colton, South Dakota, planting season started earlier this month and is wrapping up quickly.
Everybody was worried about how it was going to start out, as with the amount of snow that we had this past winter, but the snow melted into the ground. It replenished some of our subsoils pretty decent, and soils warmed up and hit the ground running.
In Armour, South Dakota, a 4-inch rainfall caused a slight delay in planting, but has created some better field conditions.
Stuff's planting a lot easier now with the rain that we got, and it makes a better outlook for the rest of the season after that rain.
As of this week, the USDA reports corn in South Dakota is 76% planted, compared to 58% last year. 56% of soybeans are planted, compared to 31% last year. But in Minnesota, heavy rain this spring means planting is off to a late start in the southeast part of the state. But one expert is confident the recent warm weather will keep crops on track. Joel Hannenmeyer is an advanced yield specialist for Ag Partners in Stewartsville, Minnesota. Most of his clients have corn and soybean rotation. He says while some growers in his region are finished planting, others are just getting started.
It's not time to panic yet. We still have some time to get corn and soybeans in the ground. Again, we think back to last year where we were in there about the same time. We came out with a tremendous crop. So we have the opportunity, based on what the weather will give us.
Forecasts call for warmer than average temperatures in the coming weeks, which should help plants that are currently struggling. Weather is always a top concern for farmers when it comes to planting. I visited with NDON Director Daryl Richardson to see how the region is sitting. Daryl, how are weather conditions sitting this planting season?
It's been a tough spring, of course, planting-wise for some areas. If you take the eastern half of North Dakota, roughly Highway 200 and northward, say northeastern North Dakota, been reasonably dry, if not quite dry, in that part. So planting went along pretty good. But you go if you use Fargo-Moorhead as a reference, you go west, southwest, or south. They got that really bad week a couple of weeks ago where they got a lot of rain. So they're still, we're in a process of planting, and so things were a little bit delayed.
So before the region heads into rainy season, how is the soil moisture sitting?
Northeastern North Dakota is generally dry, but even in the areas that are really wet, you go down 6, 12, 18 inches, it's still dry down there because of, well, the last 2 summers have been dry, and not all of the snow goes into the soil. We did have runoff. This year more went in than usual because we didn't have much frost in the ground. But the top 6 inches, especially southeastern North Dakota, are really, really saturated. So if they can get things planted, there is water to live on for a while.
So it seemed like winter lasted forever this year, and we kind of lacked growing degree days earlier this spring. Do you think that's something producers are going to have to make up for in their fields?
They will, especially southeastern North Dakota and west central Minnesota, where a lot of corn is planted. We need those growing degree day units, and we're starting late. So many folks are going to plant at least 2 weeks later than they wanted, if not 3. And so we're losing then probably, I think, conservatively, 250 growing degree day units. So they have to make those up. And if June is a little bit wetter than the past 2 years, say just average June rainfall, it's hard to have average June rainfall and above average temperatures because you're keeping the soils wet, clouds around. And so my going forecast this summer was June might be a little bit of a disappointment. We might finish at or even a little bit below average, but then July and August will make things up. So I think the summer and the growing season overall might finish just a smidge above average, say from June 1st through September 30th frost. But again, that might be end heavy to catch up. June might be a little bit of a disappointment for growing degree day units.
Well, thank you so much for your insight today.
You're welcome.
Daryl Richardson. Still ahead on our show, we revisit a North Dakota producer to see how his fields are sitting this planting season.
For home delivery of AgWeek, log on to agweek.com or call 800-811-2580.
North Dakota is a leader in ag commodities like corn and soybeans. When farmers and animal ag work together, we can keep more dollars in North Dakota.
Well, the opportunities for North Dakota on the animal ag side is really to add value to our grains that we're shipping out of this state.
We do purchase crops from our neighbors instead of the crops like soybeans and corn and wheat being shipped out of state. They're able to be used within the state, reducing some of those costs to ship those products and increasing the value to farmers within the state.
From adding value to crops to natural fertilizer, it's clear that there are win-win opportunities for animal ag and the crop industry.
Diversification on our farm is huge to make it profitable for the next generation and generations after that. I partner with Animal Ag. There's not a dollar amount that we put on it.
Let's keep North Dakota crops at home. Support growing North Dakota agriculture. Visit animalagnd.com to learn more.
Get a jump on next season's crop. Before you put your planter away after the planting season, bring it to the experts at Titan Machinery for a full inspection. Titan Machinery service technicians have the experience and training to inspect your Case IH planter and get it in optimal condition for next season. Get a head start on next season and get the peace of mind that your planter is ready when you store it for the winter. Contact the planter experts at your local Titan Machinery Case IH dealership today.
How'd they find me out here? Huh. Current resident. They don't even know who I am. Fifth downtown location. Why would I care?
Find a bank that cares about what you really need.
Ah.
Cornerstone Bank.
The Cray Revolution Ditcher is the new standard for surface water management. The Revolution Ditcher leaves a smooth finished 5-foot flat bottom cut and cuts up to 10 inches in one pass. Throw dirt in either direction, up to 165 feet. Now with the hydraulic cross auger to break up dirt and keep you working faster. Check out the Revolution Ditcher at Crary.com.
Ag Week Weather is sponsored by Bremer Bank. Connect with a banker today at bremer.com.
How will the weather fare this Memorial Day weekend? Here's John with our AgriWeather Outlook.
May marches along, June approaches, and the weather has gone decidedly warm with the front of summer really on the horizon. In fact, basically here, the event horizon, if you will. We're looking at a weather pattern that is generally warmer than average over the northern plains, the corn bean belt of the United States. Most of the north central U.S. is warm. Not scorchingly hot, but warmer than average. And while there will be some scattered storms through this period, it does look relatively organized for the north central and northeast and central parts of the United States. Now, when I say generally warm, this pattern does feature high-level ridging. Now, I'm showing really the jet stream from the perspective of the general airflow. This northern branch is the primary jet. But the subtropical jet has some action in it as well, with one little meander in the south. This is not the same type of heat wave pattern that we had, for example, in June of 1988 or June of 1995. It's just not that kind of searing heat. It's just warmer than average. And in particular, it's the northern plains that are most notably warmer than average with this pattern. And a lot of the key to that is this high-level, high-altitude placement of the primary polar jet stream. That lobe of cool weather over the northeastern part of the continent, all that's left of that really is a little lull. It's been ridiculously cold recently up in places like Iceland and Greenland, and some of the Canadian Maritimes have been fairly cold. But when you get down into the levels of the United States, the snow is melting rapidly in the Rockies. Temperatures approaching and exceeding 90 degrees in the red shaded areas are coming up into the Midwestern plains from time to time. But most areas are not going that much over 90 degrees. So it's not, as I said, it's not an exceptionally hot weather pattern. As we go through this week, we're still experiencing a bit of ridging in the middle part of the country. Toward the weekend, there will be a little bit of a lobe and a brief cool down for the Great Lakes, and some of that may even come back into the Dakotas, but it'll be more kind of just taking the edge off, as I do expect the general trend will be for warm weather, especially out here in the Great Plains, a little less so in the northeast United States. As far as precipitation goes, this is not the only precipitation. This is the area of more general organized precipitation. Not a lot, although there will be some scattered storms in the northern plains. Not a whole lot of precipitation. A few stray storms in the corn bee belt. Nothing really organized. Florida looks rather wet. Maine looks wet. The central Rockies and the central plains will be fairly stormy. And into early June, a little late spring rain for the Pacific Northwest, thunder showers in the southeast, but not a lot of organized precipitation anywhere across the United States.
Getting down to business on the farm means hitting the office early, making sure your team's ready to go, getting updates from the field, and talking with your management team. At Bremer Bank, we understand the business of farming and how to protect and grow your operation, so you can be sure your present and your future are in good hands.
Since the inception of Vaderstadt, the spirit of innovation has led the company. We push the limits, providing innovative and reliable seeding and tillage solutions that simplify everyday life for farmers. We continue to reimagine the capabilities and technology behind farm machinery, providing customers with a perfect emergence while maximizing their yields. We look forward to growing together.
How'd they find me out here? Huh. current resident. They don't even know who I am. Fifth downtown location. Why would I care?
Find a bank that cares about what you really need.
Ah.
Cornerstone Bank.
The team at North Star Ag is committed to quality and committed to you. We're not just a full-service dealer, we're farmers too, so we know you need the best machinery and services that'll keep you going all season long. We have the largest equipment inventory in the upper Midwest with a well-equipped parts and service department. So whether you need machinery tomorrow or parts today, stop in and experience what North Star Ag can offer on our website at northstar-ag.com or give us a call at 701-361-4790.
Risk management is not just for the grains. Livestock producers, did you know you too can protect the price for your production? Livestock Risk Protection, or LRP for short, is a great tool to help you protect the price of your calves. Cattle producers can also protect their pasture and hayland from lack of rainfall with Pasture Rangeland Forage, or PRF insurance. This is a very affordable way to help producers in times of below average rainfall. Call the Risk Management Specialist, Martinson Ag Risk Management.
It's once again time to check up with Tyson Rosenaw for the North Dakota Corn Council's Planting to Processing series. I traveled to Tyson's farm in Carrington, North Dakota to see how his planting season is going.
It's been slow going with the moisture that we've received over the last 2 weeks, so we have we're trying to dry some ground out to get going here.
Like many producers in the region, Tyson's planting season is off to a bit of a late start due to heavy and persistent precipitation, much like last year.
So I think last year's kind of fresh in everybody's mind. You know, we kind of started right around the same time last year. So, and we ended up having above average yield. So that's going for us, but, you know, kind of concerned that, you know, maybe we can't repeat that twice. So we might have to get a little more aggressive in decreasing our maturity on corn as we go forward from here.
But heavy soil moisture is something Tyson is thankful for after the devastating drought of 2021.
I mean, we're full right up to the top. You know, we're having to work everything just to dry it out enough to carry the planter across. And then, I mean, half inch down there's moisture. So we're not concerned at all about getting seeds to moisture, but it's kind of nice from like the drought of 21 where we were wondering how deep we can go to find it. We should have good moisture for germination and should be able to get the crop up and going.
For Tyson, sustainability is a top priority on his farm.
You know, on corn, we're pretty much like I'd still say minimum till, but you know, we do till to cover up our fertilizer. I'd say most of our sustainability efforts tie around, you know, that the use of that natural fertilizer, and you know, we're standing in a field where there was some manure spread.
However, during years with extremely wet soils like this one, Tyson is forced to till more than a year with typical soil moisture.
We try to till the least we have to, but on years like this, we're forced to do more just to get the crop in the ground.
We'll be checking back up with Tyson later on this growing season to see how his corn crop is doing. Still ahead on AgweekTV, we see a new soil health technology that farmers can keep right in their pocket.
For home delivery of AgWeek, log on to agweek.com or call 800-811-2580.
There's no easy button, no guarantees, or promises of a good year. This is farming. It's unpredictable and demanding, with long days and sometimes stressful nights. It's weathering the storms and coming out successful. Farming isn't for everyone. We thank those who make it their life, because it is for everyone.
You can get the field results you want in varying conditions with the flexibility of the Summers VRT Renegade, featuring on-the-fly blade angle adjustment from 0 to 19 degrees. And if you want the simplicity of a super coulter with the ability to move a little dirt, you'll love the all-new Summers Super Coulter Samurai. Go to summersmfg.com or visit your local dealer to learn more about North America's broadest line of tillage equipment and other products from North Dakota-based Summers Manufacturing.
Built in North Dakota and delivered across the Midwest, every Pinky home is a custom home, designed for your family, built by ours. And with our on-site lumberyard and generations of experience, we can help build the home of your dreams without breaking your budget. Build something that lasts. Build with Pinky Homes. Get to know us and see all of your customization options at pinkyhomes.com.
Get a jump on next season's crop. Before you put your planter away after the planting season, bring it to the experts at Titan Machinery for a full inspection. Titan Machinery service technicians have the experience and training to inspect your Case IH planter and get it in optimal condition for next season. Get a head start on next season and get the peace of mind that your planter is ready when you store it for the winter. Contact the planter experts at your local Titan Machinery Case IH dealership today.
Getting down to business on the farm means hitting the office early, making sure your team's ready to go, getting updates from the field, and talking with your management team. At Brimmer Bank, we understand the business of farming and how to protect and grow your operation, so you can be sure your present and your future are in good hands.
Farmers and soil health enthusiasts are growing connections through a new social media platform designed to give producers the answers they are looking for at the touch of a screen.
David Kruger is taking pictures of radishes in his field, which can be shared instantly with hundreds of people interested in soil health practices on the Growing Connections app.
Soil health practices is a challenge. It is not something always easy. Getting into it and starting it, you have to really change the way you think about farming, and by having the app, it gives a place where people who are trying it or thinking of trying it can go and ask questions, and we can try to help them to be successful.
The platform has many features, including places to ask questions, read articles, and get connected with soil health mentors in every county across South Dakota.
There's guys asking, seems like first-time cover crop users are wondering when to terminate, how to terminate, best way to plant, and just what should they do for a cover crop to start getting. There's a lot more questions from new time people.
Since its launch in January, the app has seen a great response.
We were really happy with the amount of downloads that we've already seen and the amount of users. There's been questions and interactions, people commenting, liking. So we are very pleased with the number that we've seen.
Growing a network of soil health experts from in the shop or out in the field.
It's important to have a network of people across the state, because the more people that you can have contact with, share ideas with, get ideas from when you're struggling with something, the better chance you are at being successful and finding a resolution to the issue that you're having.
Growing Connections is free to set up. You can find it online in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store. Stories you'll only see on AgWeek.com and in AgWeek magazine this week. One 4th grade classroom in Pierce, South Dakota welcomes some new classmates, dozens of baby birds. And African immigrant farmers in the upper Midwest are working to access land they can farm. We appreciate you watching our special planting show this week from Ag Spray Equipment in Fargo, North Dakota. Remember to check us out daily on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok to keep up on all your ag news. Have a great Memorial Day weekend, everybody.